Offense went full circle last night. 4 home runs, including a couple of tape measure shots in an 8-1 rout of the Dodgers. An early start for the series finale features Stephen Strasburg in his quest to improve to 14-0 and move his win streak overall to 17. Somebody's hero hit a long home run here last night. Dodgers and the Nats. It's a rubber game thanks to Gio. Thanks to Harper's power pointing out where he hit one last night to the upper reaches of the ballpark, and the other guys who followed with power of their own to turn that into a blowout last night. So the Nats finally beat the Dodgers. Strasburg tries to win a series today. Every time he pitches, it seems like we're talking baseball history.
Yeah, it seems like it, right? And who else would you want on the mound to win a series than Stephen Strasburg, what he's accomplished? He's coming off a good one last time out Friday against the Pirates. He went 8 strong, gave up just 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 6 Pirates. So on the year, 138 strikeouts, 33 walks for Stephen. But I think the difference, Carp, this year for him, besides the maturity, the poise, and not letting things get to him, has been that 4th pitch, the slider. He threw it 23% of the time last time out against the Pirates, and it's made all the difference in the world.
He just keeps on winning and winning and winning, and he is the 8th starter all time to start the season, 13-0, 21-2. He's tied with Johnny Cueto in wins, but Cueto has a couple of losses. So Strasburg coming in to take on those Dodgers. It's a hot day at Nationals Park. It'll be in the 90s. 150th career start. He has 67 wins, and he's 34-17. That's a great record in his own ballpark. Ball on Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you. Another achievement ahead for Stephen Strasburg today, trying to go 14-0. Great opponent's batting average, strikeout total among the league leaders. getting his job done now, getting warmed up with Ramos. It's a hot day at the ballpark, on its way to a high of 91 projected today, 86 right now. Humidity just over 50%. Not much of a breeze moving things around. Howie Kendrick in this series is 3 for 7 with a couple of walks, and he kept that hitting streak alive with an 8th inning double off the center field wall last night. 21 hits in those 12 games for the veteran, who's 11 for his last 21. Jock Peterson back in there today. And evidently we still will not see Corey Seager, their all-star shortstop, in this series. Strasburg, 5th career start against L.A.
We see the Arsenal last start, fastball averaged 95 miles an hour through the slider 23% of the time last start at 87. So 18th start of the year. You see the record. Opponents hitting 195. Check out lefties hitting just 175 this year against Steven Strasburg. And here's your defense today behind Steven. Chris Heisey gets the start in left. Michael A. Taylor in center. Bryce Harper in right. Espinosa Rendon left side. Turner Murphy right side. And Wilson Ramos grinding. 12 o'clock start after a night game.
Leadoff man, shift is on. Chase Utley, 3 for 5 with that series leadoff homer on Tuesday evening.
Hey, try to play a game here.
We got somebody on the field.
Hey, excuse me. Coming through. That was awkward.
Well, now it's 12:06, and here's the first pitch.
I've never seen that before. All right, here we go.
In there to Utley, who's 4 for 27 career against Steven Strasburg. Little cut, little slide to that one. 24-year veteran Brian Gorman. The crew chief has the plate. Pat Hoberg, Mike DeMuro, Quinn Wilcott, first, second, and third. Utley hitting a .266. He's 4 for his last 11. Evidently something going around the Dodger clubhouse a bit. Seager does have a stomach bug, so that's why he's not in the lineup again. Nats had some of that going around. Anthony Rendon's been back for a couple of games now. So on 0-2, Utley, with Rendon alone over at short, kind of stepped out and surveyed the Nats defense. Takes the off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Overall, that number's 195 for the season, 4th best. 5th in strikeouts. Challenge fastball, skying its way to left and out of play. In the original lineup today, at least the one that was put out, Dusty intended to give Jason Worth the day off, but the first lineup we saw had Worth in left, Heisey in center. And then when Jason got scratched, it was Heisey 2 left and Michael A. Taylor into the lineup. But evidently a scheduled day off originally by Dusty for Jason Worth, who's 2 for 8 with a home run in the series. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Utley high in the air to right, but it's going to play for Bryce Harper. Inside the numbers, brought to you by Jeep. So the wins in Major League Baseball at 13. The ERA top 6, strikeouts top 8, opponent's batting average. Chris Sale has 14 wins. Over in the American League, Chris Tillman has 13. Cueto and Strasburg, the 13-win guys in the senior circuit. So here's Howie Kendrick. That fastball bolted in there, and so's the line drive to Harper. Well hit, 2 outs.
You know, a lot of it's talked about how the win is irrelevant with starting pitchers, and you understand the reasons why people are making that argument. But with Steven this year, you've seen some times when he's given up 4 runs early and stayed in the ball game and went 7 1/3 on the 24th against the Twins, got the 6-5 win. Went 7 against the Tigers on May 9th. And got the 5-4 win. He gave up 4 runs that game. So there's been a number of games this year that he stayed in the game to qualify for a win after giving up some early runs. And to me, that's how you get to 13-0. It's not just dumb luck. You just take the mound and you throw 5 innings and you're 13-0. You got to stick around and stick your nose in there and keep your ball club in the ball game to get that record.
That's a good call.
I mean, you go 5 and dive every 5th day, you ain't 13-0. Sorry.
No. You're going to end the season about 11-11 with 14 no decisions. And Strasburg, his innings not up there with the other guys because he's missed a couple of starts. But on the other hand, he may be fresher than a whole lot of starting pitchers in baseball on the 21st of July. They're taking some good hacks here. That ball tailing to the left field corner. That's going to hit fair. Adrian Gonzalez into the corner with a 2-out double. He's now 5 out of 10 career against Strasburg. Every pitcher has one of those guys.
May have been an elevated fastball, mid-90s. Adrian Gonzalez gets on top, goes the other way. Belt high, really, not that high. Beautiful swing by the Dodgers first baseman. First hit of the day for the Dodgers, a double by Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, who hasn't had a great road trip for them with that base hit. He's 4 for his last 21. They're leaving here and going to St. Louis, and they will play the Sunday night game there before heading back to L.A. So here's Justin Turner in the series, 3 for 9. Buddy's 8 for his last 22. And that's ball 2.
Carp, these are the situations where the slider's been Stevens' friend this year. You remember last year, he's fastball, curveball, change. Fastball had little arm side run, so that would go into righties. The changeup had arm side run, that would go into righties. The curveball was 12-6. He's never really had a pitch that broke away from right-handers until this year. And the slider cutter thing at 90-91 has been very effective.
Boy, he'll just run that fastball mid-90s right in on Turner's hands. Limited schedule in baseball today. The Mets are off. Miami throws Tom Kohler at Philadelphia tonight. Nationals 5.5 up on the Marlins, 6.5 up on the Mets.
That was a slider right there. He left it out over.
And by the way, this weekend the Mets will be at Miami. Nats will be playing San Diego, so a chance to do some more damage in the division with those two going at it.
Dusty talking pitching with Max. How Strasburg's throwing his glove at the hitter, and that's providing some deception for him.
One more thing in the field of vision, huh?
Sees everything, man.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Turner, who's driven in 50 runs. That's the changeup that runs down and in. That ball is well hit to left, and it's not coming back. The Dodgers lead 2-0. Turner's 16th of the year. Had only seen Strasburg in a matchup one time prior to this. RBIs number 51 and 52.
Well, when the cutter slider thing doesn't break and he threw it back-to-back pitches, the first one to Justin Turner was right down the middle. This one the same way, didn't do a whole lot. So what does it turn into? Essentially an 89-mile-an-hour fastball to Justin Turner, who knew what to do with it. So Steven thinking, okay, I'm going to make the adjustment from the last slider that didn't break. But the second one didn't either. 2-0 Dodgers.
There's Jock Peterson. Strasburg gives up his 12th home run of the year. Peterson has hit 13. Not in the lineup against Gio last night. They sat a bunch of their left-handed batters. He was 1 for 5 with a couple of RBIs here on Tuesday. Facing Strasburg for the first time. A lot of kids in the ballpark today. You'll hear some hollering and squealing and a lot of fun. Camp day here. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Peterson couldn't get up and away far enough. So the Gonzalez double with 2 outs and the Turner homer puts the Dodgers on top. Or at least a 30, maybe a 50 here at the ball yard. If you need any advice, just look up Bob Henley.
He's got all of it. I'm surprised he has any left.
All right. Now we're ready for baseball. Anthony Rendon in the 5 spot. 7-game hitting streak against the Dodgers going back to last year. So he's 5th. Ramos behind him. Taylor 2nd behind Turner. Murphy's not going anywhere. Neither is Bryce Harper. And then Chris Heisey gets a start today. Julio Urias, the 19-year-old, had 5 pretty good innings against the Nats. Gave up a couple of hits and a couple of runs when the Nats were swept at Dodger Stadium.
His last big league start was July 4th against the Orioles. Got the no decision. Went 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, threw 75 pitches in that one. So fastball, slider, curveball, change. Fastball 93. He'll cut the fastball. He'll sink it. He'll throw it 4 seams. And there's the rest of the sunscreen on the zombie third base coach, Bob Henley.
Trey Turner making an offer to bunt. Got Justin Turner on the move and Adrian Gonzalez as well. Trey, 5 hits, 3 RBIs his last 4 games. 2 for 8 in this series. Up in the zone, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tripled the left last night. How often do you say that? Stole home last night. Made it from home to third in 10.8 seconds.
2-1 pitch. So at the big league level, Julio Urias, 36 innings, 39 hits. He's walked a bunch, 17, strikeout total at 44. Then Turner, close enough to be hacking. There were 2 Nats who had 2 hits against him in his start at Dodger Stadium, but neither in the lineup. Jason Worth, 2 for 2 with a walk. And Ryan Zimmerman, who will be a Potomac National tonight, went 2 for 2 in that game. Turner out of play, right field.
How about the Dodgers defense behind Urias right now? Kendrick, Peterson, Tolsey outfield, Taylor, Turner left side, Utley Gonzalez right side, A.J. Ellis behind the plate. One thing I remember from Urias last time is he slowed down on his off speed. You could see it noticeably, and sometimes as a hitter you can really notice that too. His curveball and his changeup, his arm speed slowed down, and his delivery did a little bit. So something to keep an eye on today.
Three-two pitch again. Ripped to his left. Chris Taylor. Boy, he made that close, and now he beats it out. There is no such thing as a routine ground ball off the bat of Trey Turner.
But with fast guys, stay with me here. With fast guys, when you hit it hard, you still have time. Usually when fast guys hit a slow ground ball, they're safe. Trey Turner hit that one on the nose. Maybe Chris Taylor with the flip throw made it close. I don't know if he was safe. Dave Roberts on the top of the Dodgers dugout right now. They may have a look at it, but even making it that close on the ball that he hit right on the nose is impressive. He can flat out fly, folks. What are we going to do here? They're going to check it out. Dave Roberts on the top step, still looking down. Nice hit play on. Well, there goes the no-hitter. Infield single. Trey Turner. He can fly, man. Wow.
5-game hitting streak. Here's Michael A. Taylor.
You have to be careful at first base. Urias has picked off a runner in 4 of his 5 starts, so he's got a good move. That was the snap throw, but he's got a good one.
High throw that sent Gonzalez jumping over the runner.
I mean, Carp, you've seen a lot of fast guys. Taylor took 2 steps to his left and got rid of it, and Turner beat it.
There were no extra crow hops or double clutches there. You know, Michael A. Taylor is more of a power guy, but if Michael could take a little bit of that into his game, because he is blindingly fast as well. So 3 throws over. Turner can back up at third now. Justin, that is. Trey 2 for 2 stealing. Wouldn't you love to see these 2 guys on base with Murphy and Harper coming? It's a battle for Michael here on 1 and 2. And he jacks one down the left field side. Turner's going to make the turn and get back, as Howie Kendrick had some urgency getting to that ball. And the Greyhounds are aboard here with the power guys coming up.
I think Trey Turner had to hold to see if that got through, or he'd have been on third. He doesn't care if the ball's hit in front of him. 108-mile-an-hour line drive off the bat of Michael A. Taylor for his first hit today. And you're thinking, he's going to third, right? See him just hesitate right there just to make sure the ball got through. Got a little bit higher, Turner be standing on third.
Here's Murphy. In the series, Daniel 3 for 8 with an RBI. Still the third best RBI guy in the National League at 68. Nolan Arenado and Anthony Rizzo each have 71.
Pretty fair average with runners in scoring position. 349.
Yeah, that's 7th in the league. And the 1-0. That's a swing and a foul. Murphy faced Urias twice in that game at Dodger Stadium. Wednesday, June 22nd. Fly ball to center. Then he got him looking. Bryce Harper. After he hit one a mile last night, what's in store today? Jack Peterson is really deep in center. This one out of play to the left side. You would think any kind of base it up the middle of tie this, actually get the Nats back to within a run and put Taylor on third. He's so deep.
Doesn't matter where he's playing with Trey Turner. If it's a ground ball through, he's scoring. That's probably why he's playing deep. If he cheats in, it does him no good. Also tells you he likes to come in on the ball instead of go back.
Murphy leading the way. The Nats in this series have 18 hits, 12 for extra bases. Their 2 singles today, only their 5th and 6th against the Dodgers in these 3 games. A.J. Ellis held it there for a while, but it was up and away. He had jumped out to that part just as the pitch was being thrown.
Well, did you see Daniel Murphy ask home plate umpire Brian Gorman after the first ball 1? He gathered information. That was so he took that pitch right there. They were almost the same pitch. And he was asking how far out he's going to go, how low he's going to go. He's always gathering information.
Murphy, short center, but out to get it is Chris Taylor for a very important first out for the Dodgers.
Check out the sequence. We always love to watch Daniel Murphy and his game plan. This time against the young left-hander. See, there's the first pitch, and he asked Brian Gorman, you know, is that the corner, that close? He wants to know if he has to cover that with 2 strikes. So check out the next pitch, I believe, right here. Almost in the same spot, a little up and away, and then the curveball kind of hanging out over the plate, a little out in front. See how they're working Daniel Murphy today, left on left.
2 runners aboard, the shift on for Bryce Harper.
Dusty talking to Bryce yesterday about slowing his feet down, getting that balance that he had in his swing all last year. See that first take, he was off balance, falling toward his dugout. That's been the case for the last 2 months for Bryce. Hasn't had a lot of balance throughout his swing.
Yeah, last night a homer, first time up, couple of strikeouts and a walk. The walk was big, led to a rally. Runners are on the move, and the throw to third appears to be late, and the Nats pull off another double steal. Turner on the front end, Taylor to second.
Did he come off the base after he stole it? Because you saw Justin Turner motion to his own dugout. And Trey Turner's got that kind of speed. He can steal third even with a lefty hit, and it doesn't matter. You see A.J. Ellis kind of leaning. So he stole it initially. Did he hold the base is the question that the Dodgers are asking right now. So he's in there easily. Did he go past it? Did he keep his hand on? I couldn't tell. Could you?
Nope. And this is, to me, where there should be a time limit on these.
Well, they're already looking in Chelsea right now. They're trying to decide in case Dave Roberts decides to challenge. So in New York, the umpires are already probably looked at it 4 or 5 times, just in case Dave Roberts challenges, and he's gonna. So he's safe, right? Did he keep that hand on the base? There was a little. Okay, right here. Does his left hand hold the base, or does he knock it off with the tag? I can't tell right there. His leg's blocking it out. That one angle from left field showed it. This one. Here we go. Did it come off right there onto Justin Turner's glove? It might have. And it didn't look like Turner knocked his hand off. If he knocked his hand off, it's irrelevant. What would Rickey Henderson's stolen base total be with replay challenges?
Good. It's a great question. Or Lou Brock or Maury Wills.
How many times did Rickey Henderson come off the base when he stole like Trey Turner just did? We talk about keeping the record books the way they are and not changing anything. This definitely changes stolen base totals moving forward big time. All those guys came off the base. Are you kidding me? This is silly.
Well, we used to think that the longer it took, maybe the better it was for the team not challenging, but it also indicates that the team that is challenging, they're really looking for something to confirm that. So we've kind of learned over the last couple of years that the length of challenge doesn't seem to favor one side or the other.
But this is directly affecting the record books, in my opinion. Calls like this.
Headsets coming off. They're both safe. And the Dodgers are out of challenges for the rest of the day. Double steals, Dan. How about it?
Bob, during the Daniel Murphy at bat, Dusty Baker called over to bench coach Chris Spire. He wanted a time on Urias to the plate, how fast he was. Chris Spire shouted back 1.45. Dusty put the play on a few pitches later into the Bryce Harper at bat. Successful. So he got the time, got the results he wanted as well.
And the Nats have now stolen 62 bases this year.
Probably just gave Turner the green light. Very rarely does a manager give a guy on second the straight steal. He wants him to get his maximum jump.
Target away. Outer edge, and Urias now, who had to stand around for 2 minutes, a step off. And as the Dodger outfield continues to play near the Capitol, any kind of base hit out there will tie this game.
Bryce choked up for the first time ever. Did you see that?
I like it.
He's going Joey Votto right here. I've never seen this. Look where he's holding the bat. Never seen that from Bryce Harper.
Nationals with a chance to get the runs right back. And a 1-2 pitch, Sales way upstairs, ball 2.
Seen every one of his at-bats since day one in Los Angeles, and I've never seen him choke up with 2 strikes. He's really choking up.
Well, that worked into a pretty good swing to Kendrick. Turner scores easily. Taylor has to hold, and Bryce Harper gathers RBI number 55. It's a 2-1 game.
Nice at bat by Bryce Harper. Nice two-strike adjustment. I mean, how many times do you see a power hitter choke up, take something out of his swing, put the ball in play? And newsflash, Nats fans, the Nats have a new leadoff hitter. Trey Turner just created that run all by himself. An infield single on a bullet. Steals third, tags up on a fly ball. Welcome to the big leagues, Trey Turner, and welcome to the leadoff spot.
Nats have made this a long inning so far for Julio Urias. And here's Anthony Rendon, who was 0 for 2 against him that day. Anthony Rendon takes one up and away. So 25 pitches, 23 to the first 4 batters. Anthony 2 for 4 last night, a home run, kind of an icing on the cake blast in the bottom of the 8th. That's going to be right on the outside edge. Long inning for Urias. Dodgers get 2, the Nats get 1 back.
Trey Turner leads this one off with an infield single. Let's watch him fly down the first baseline. Little chuckle with first base umpire Pat Hoberg. Then he gets to second, and Chris Taylor saying, "How did you beat that out, dude? Seriously?" Then he decides to steal third with a left-handed hitter, Bryce Harper, up, and he stole it relatively easily. And then Bryce with the sac fly. And what do you do if you're Howie Kendrick and Trey Turner's on third? You just flip it into third because you have no shot at throwing out that speed. So that is leadoff hitting, folks. Trey Turner getting her done.
Got to be in the lineup, doesn't he? Taylor, Tolles, Ellis for the Dodgers, top of the second. Steven Strasburg threw first pitch 33 minutes ago. So he had a long spell in the dugout. Maybe on a day like this, that's not a bad thing. And he takes on Taylor, who's been on base in this series, 1 for 7, 2 walks, so on 3 times. Outside. Taylor 6 for his last 16. 15th game with the Dodgers after playing in just 2 with Seattle. And this one to the right side. Power pitcher overpowering a right-handed batter. Murphy for the first out.
Hey parents, send your kids to the coolest camp in DC this summer. National Summer Camps will enjoy baseball curriculum, a day-long visit at Nats Park, a meet and greet with Nats players, and receive an autographed photo, maybe even one of Bob Carpenter. Camps are nearing capacity. Visit nationals.com/camps to register today. There's the campers. They're everywhere. Color-coded.
Yeah, most colorful ballpark of the year. There's Andrew Toles with one to right. Harper to his left to get it and keep him to a single. Andrew Toles now with the Dodgers is 5 for 16, playing in his 8th game. A.J. Ellis. A Dodger his entire career, drafted by them back in 03. Big leagues took him a while, till 2008 to get up to the major leagues. And that ball just gets away from Wilson Ramos, and down to second goes Toles. It'll be a pass ball. Now the Dodgers have great speed at second base. Toles more than 100 steals in the minor leagues. And a ball skied to right for Harper. Runner tagging. Bryce bracing for a throw. Right into the runner at the third base bag. Ball kind of popped up and Rendon just grabbed it. Great arm, great speed. That was a pretty good matchup.
Pretty good throw, right on the money. Popped up right to Anthony Rendon. Look at him get behind it. That's the key. Get his momentum going to third. Then it's just, I don't care about cutoff, man. I'm just throwing to third. So you don't have to keep the throw down. There's no trail runner there.
Toles at third, 2 down. Julio Urias 1 for 9 with an RBI as a big league hitter.
Yeah, I'm checking out the Dodgers in-game reporter, Alana Rizzo. She's got an umbrella down there on a hot day. And then there's our guy, Masson Dan, with no umbrella, but he's got a fan. Just one. And it's right behind him.
Great breaking ball, swing and a miss. Urias done. And that's strikeout number 2 for Strasburg.
Impact of Trey Turner's speed over the last few days. 2 triples for Trey in his last 2 ball games, and then a steal of home last night. I asked Dusty Baker earlier today, ways that Turner's speed, because it is such an elite tool for him, can make an impact on the opposition more so than just in the obvious ways, like the triples and the steals of home. And Dusty said that there are a number of different ways. It puts pressure on the defense such that an infielder can't bobble a ball. It makes you rush on double plays. Outfielders try to get to a ball in the outfield quicker, and then they try to throw in the ball so quickly that sometimes their throw to a cutoff man is off target. It also affects pitchers, both in terms of holding Turner on first base and in terms of the actual pitches that they're throwing to the guy in the batter's box. The guys behind Turner, Dusty says, will see much more fastballs, especially fastballs away, because catchers still want to have the opportunity to throw Turner out. So that'll set the guys up behind Turner in much more advantageous hitting situations. So obviously it's fun to watch Trey Turner go from home to third on triples, and it's fun to watch him swipe home on a double steal. But his speed in general, as we saw in that first inning, makes a number of impacts on the opposition.
Yeah, he changes the way teams have to play against the Nats. And it's already a ball club that hits for a lot of power, so you make a mistake with some of those fastballs, then we could have some really big innings. So that's Dan with a Coons.com sideline report. Ramos a foul ball, over 2 million vehicles sold and counting.
But speed plus baseball IQ and being a baseball player are 2 different things. Trey Turner last night, when he shuffled down before he stole home and gathered ground and momentum, that's stuff you can't teach. I played with a number of guys that had speed and had no idea what to do with it. They would just run silly on the bases. But you take a guy like Trey Turner, who knows what he's doing. He's a baseball player, and he's gathering ground. You can't really see he's out of the screen to the left, but watch him kind of shuffle down and then go to home. So he was picking up ground, and he shortened the distance that it took to steal home. That's stuff you really can't teach.
Ramos waited for that breaking ball, hammered it to left center. So the Nationals are 3 out of 5 already with a sacrifice fly against Urias. And for Ramos, in the series now, 3 for 5. Number 7 man, Chris Heisey. If this is an official at bat, it'll be his 80th of the year in 51 games. 18 hits, 4 homers, 7 RBIs. And that's going to be a line drive out to the shortstop Taylor. Ramos stays home. 1 out. Dodgers have pitched Danny well in this series, 0 for 7. Hit by a pitch last night. He stole a base as part of that tandem play with Trey Turner. And Danny on the homestand, 2 for 19. As recently as the start of this homestand, he was sitting up around 275 right-handed. He's still over 250 from this side of the plate. All locked up on a pitch diving down and in, 0-2. Ramos, a very short lead.
Yeah, careful coming in with 2 strikes to Danny Espinosa. He's been hit, what, 15, 16 times this year? Mostly with 2 strikes.
15.
He ain't moving.
Only Derek Dietrich of the Marlins has been plunked more.
That might have broke his bat. Did you hear it hit the rocks? And he's asking for a new one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I mean, there's no padding back there.
No, he needs a new. He knew it as soon as it hit. It made that sound. He broke his bat. And a good thing that guy before the game wasn't walking back there right now, or he'd have got hit. Yeah, watch this. Let's go with the bottom hand. Top hand throws it right back. This is a big at bat. If he can get on Steven Strasburg with a good bunt, you have a chance to make this a 3-2 game with a Trey Turner single. So you're thinking, okay, 1 out, runner on first, not a big deal. It's a big deal. Strasburg can handle the bat. He can bunt Wilson Ramos to third.
Espinosa reaching way out there. And strikeout number 2 for Urias with Strasburg coming up.
Padres are coming to town. The Nats close out the homestand against the Friars this Friday through Sunday at Nats Park. Get your tickets today, nationals.com/tickets. So Friday 7:05, Saturday 7:05, and Sunday 1:35. It'll be 1 million degrees every single game in that series, but we'll be at the yard and we'll be having fun.
Nats listing Tanner Roark as the starter tomorrow against Luis Perdomo, a rookie. Max Scherzer, former Nat Edwin Jackson Saturday night. Christian Friedrich, the left-hander, on Sunday for the Pods, and that'll be the pitching rotation spot the Nats will make a decision on.
Wilson Ramos gets a throw over. Mark that down. The Buffalo looking like a stolen base threat right now. I think he's just trying to catch him napping.
Strasburg 5 for 40 this year with an RBI. Urias to the inside edge. Up the middle, ball's got a little velocity, enough to get through. Chase Utley playing straight up with the other infielders, and Steven Strasburg sneaks his 6th hit of the year. First and second, 2 outs for Trey Turner.
He likes to hit off lefties, always has. So keeps the line moving with 2 outs. Now Trey Turner has a chance to do some damage. But his speed will be nullified because the bases are officially clogged up.
He might have to hit a triple to score both of these guys.
No offense, fellas. This is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, running speed. Just under 23 miles an hour last night.
Yeah. All 3 Nats.
Why wouldn't Jeep want to be on that stat? Turner around a little bit late. 1 ball, 1 strike. What's a horse run, like 30? I don't know.
Seriously, I mean,
for many bettors, not fast enough.
Put Trey Turner in the Kentucky Derby.
Low and inside.
25 to 30 miles an hour, a horse. I just Googled it. So he's almost as fast as a horse. He only has 2 legs.
Meanwhile, Strasburg getting aboard is going to take Julio Urias upwards of 50 pitches here in the first 2 innings. He's at 46 right now. First time through the order, the Nationals go 4 for 8 with a sac fly. All singles. And that changeup eats him up. Great pitch by Urias. Long 2 innings for him. Still 2-1 Dodgers, top of their order in the 3rd coming up.
Smile. It's almost Friday, brought to you by Dominion National. Why wouldn't you smile? You're at the ballpark, providing innovative high-value dental and vision benefits to area employers and individuals. Smile. You're at the ballpark, and you just hit an infield single, and you could run faster than a horse.
They got the misters going out there. Temperatures climbing here in the district. It's really going to be sizzling here this weekend. So make your hydration and wardrobe plans for the weekend accordingly. Friday and Saturday are night games. Let's have a look at home field advantage. It's brought to you by Lowe's. So last 18 times out at home, Strasburg 11-1 Nationals Park, just over 2.5 ERA. Getting great offense to work with. Strikeout to walk ratio ridiculous, as is the opponent's batting average. Dodgers first time through today, 3 for 9. The big blows, the Gonzalez double. And by the way, Adrian Gonzalez is hitting over 380 in day games this year. And then the Turner home run. Outside to Chase Utley. His first at bat, fly ball to right. Just enough into left field. And Chase Utley is 4 for 7 in this series. So a long couple of innings here in the rubber game of this 3-game series. BCFP DK here on Masson. Howie Kendrick hit the ball extremely hard the other way first time, a line drive right at Bryce Harper. And he's working on that 12-game hitting streak. Howie Kendrick has not hit under 285 in the big leagues since he came up with the Angels in '06. Now that's saying something. We didn't get to see him a whole lot. We'd see him every couple of years, interleague and all that. But I think Howie Kendrick is one of those guys. You'd have to see him play every day to really appreciate what he does for a ball club.
Got a good approach. He keeps his hands inside the ball, uses a whole field. His strength is to right center. And he's wearing stirrups, so that's always a good thing. Low in the front, high in the back, kids. And those white socks underneath are called sanitaries.
Jammed and fouled it over to Mike Maddox.
How many of the campers here today know about stirrups and know about sanitaries? I'm calling not too many. They know about ice cream. Hydrate.
1-2 to Kendrick. He's bounced into 11 double plays this year. Had a good rip at that one. There goes another game onto that hitting streak. Over to get it, Heisey, and Utley will round second, go back. And Howie Kendrick is now 22 for 49 in a 13-game streak.
Well, good decision by Chase Utley to stay at second, but nice at bat by Howie Kendrick. You saw him stay alive with that emergency hack, fouling into the Nats dugout, and then he gets something a little bit slower and pulls it down the left field line, and Chase Utley came roaring around second base. He was thinking about third, but with no outs, hit the brakes.
And here's a hitter who loves day baseball, Adrian Gonzalez. Out of play to the left side. Just 2 for 9 in the series, but his double with 2 outs kept the first inning going before the Turner home run.
Trying to get him on the ground right here for a double play.
He's bounced into 12 of those this year. Espinosa right up the middle with Chase Utley. Ramos leaning a bit toward the inside. That ball right through the shift. Utley around third, being sent by Chris Woodward. Harper's throw on target but late. The Dodgers lead 3-1. And Kendrick ending up at third on Gonzalez' second hit of the day.
A line moving here in the third for the Dodgers. Single by Utley, single by Howie Kendrick. Now Adrian Gonzalez hits a bullet to right. And give Chase Utley a lot of credit for a good secondary lead here and a good jump. I didn't know if they were going to test the arm of Bryce Harper with nobody out, but they did, and Utley made it easily.
Yeah, that is impressive because, as we mentioned, on the modified shift, Danny Espinosa was very near the second base bag, and Utley still able to get that big lead.
I'm going to give Chris Woodward credit for sending Utley, Dodgers third base coach.
Justin Turner, home run first time. His 16th. And Steven Strasburg has given up 6 hits and 2+. Not sure what the Dodgers are pausing for. The hitter Turner was looking into the dugout. Dave Roberts communicating maybe something they were looking at on video. He just waved the umpire to say play on, and they don't have any challenges.
You always have,
unless you politely ask for one.
You always have a challenge. There's no such thing as run out of challenge.
Doesn't seem to be.
Just run out, be real nice to the ump, and ask them if they could please look at that again. I don't know what they were looking at, though. I missed something.
Ball 2. Three 3-0. Left-handed batter Jock Peterson on deck. Strasburg not having a whole lot to do with Turner here. He's ripping on 3-0, and he hits this ball a ton to left center. Taylor going back, and Turner has done it again. A 3-0 pitch, and the Dodgers lead 6-1. Turner has driven in 5.
When you talk about getting on top of a 3-0 fastball, watch the location of this pitch and watch Turner get on top of it. You know, battling to create some backspin. Really hitting the bottom half of the ball and creating the backspin, but that one carried. Good effort by Michael A. Taylor. But have a day, Justin Turner. 2 for 2, 2 home runs off Steven Strasburg.
Nobody out. Jock Peterson, the hitter. Strasburg struck him out first time, ending the first inning. He goes up hacking and pops it up. Anthony Rendon battling that sun. Able to grab it for the first out. So Turner now 17 home runs, 55 batted in. An amazing transformation into a productive power hitter, getting reps and at bats for the Dodgers the last couple of years.
I mean, he was a guy that played once every week or so with the Mets when the Nats used to play them all the time back in the day, 2011, I believe.
Yeah.
And now he's hitting cleanup for the Dodgers.
I'm looking at his time with the Mets. He'd average about 80 to 90 games a year. 200, 220 as far as the at-bats. He has blossomed in L.A. Former Virginia Cavalier Chris Taylor in there. Popped up to Murphy first time. 2-1. When Strasburg steps off as a bird made his way around the infield to his left.
We have a lost pigeon right by first. There he is.
He's going to land safely.
He's got a big lead right now. Go in the stretch and pick him off for an out. Look at that. He's way off. Nobody holding him.
He went, did Taylor, and he strikes out. 2 down here in the third. Stephen Strasburg, third K of the day.
Murph's chasing him. And then Murphy's got a buddy. Well, you remember the rally pigeon last year. Maybe that. He doesn't look well, though. He looks like he's having a rough day. Got some feathers out of place.
Andrew Tolles, the hitter, pulled a base hit to right first time. Went to second on a pass ball, stranded at third last inning. Strasburg, 83 on the hook. No balls, 2 strikes. Then the straight change strikes him out. Ramos to Murphy. Top of the third over. Dodgers doing lots of damage, and a huge day for Justin Turner so far. To you by T-Mobile. Texas Rangers, a big-time blow. They're 6th in the American League in hitting. Lots of power, and they could be without Prince Fielder for the rest of the season. Hanley Ramirez against the Giants. Goes deep 3 times last night. And the Cubs added to their bullpen from Seattle with left-hander Mike Montgomery, who's got a very good ERA. What a day. And he's got 2 to 3 more at bats. Bottom of the third for the Nationals, Michael A. Taylor. Hard hit, base hit, left field first time. Hard hit to the hole this time. Chris Taylor got him by a step.
Nice play.
Murphy and Harper, the next 2. Jose Altuve had a couple of more hits last night for Houston. He's hitting .357. Murphy started today .351. Strike 1 from Urias. Strike call. Murphy backed out. And you know he's going to discuss that one with Brian Gorman.
Yeah, for those of you that don't get to see the Nats very often, Daniel Murphy talks to umpires every day. He's not complaining about pitches. He's just asking, is that as far in as we're going? Do I have to cover that with 2 strikes? Is that as high as the strike zone is going to be today? He wants to know for future pitches in that at-bat and at-bats moving forward. So he's always talking to umpires in a polite way. Kind of like doing his own personal scouting report on how the umpires see in the strike zone on that given day on certain pitches.
One and two again. Nissan will track the at bat. And he serves one to left. Ball falling, but not quickly enough. Howie Kendrick able to cover it. 2 outs.
So the throw from Bryce Harper to Anthony Rendon on StatCast, 95.1 miles an hour. So I wanted to show it again to show you what 95 looks like from the outfield. I think Bryce was throwing 95 when he was 12 as a pitcher.
And probably 95 down to second when he was catching.
Yeah. Choking up. Excuse me, Carp is choking up again.
Yeah, in the series, 1 for 7, 3 RBIs. Trying to bunt for a 2-out hit with nobody home on the third base side, but now it's strike 2.
The homer last night, he wasn't choking up on that one, and the stadium stopped it. They said, what, 451? I'm not buying it.
To where it hit.
Look where it hits. Halfway up the third deck. We've never seen one that far. So the trajectory, the landing point, I'm not buying 451.
Yeah, last section out there. And it appeared to be about 6 rows up and about 20 feet farther over toward the outfield than a ball Adam Dunn hit here years ago that has a red seat painted up there. And Bryce probably has a couple of other red seats up there. And a 1-2, it's off to the left side.
I mean, the only thing I can think of with the choking up, Carp, is that's the left-on-left approach.
Yeah.
I think it was right in this area, that general vicinity.
Right by the rail, you're right. So as far as we know, Harper and Dunn, the only ones to visit sections 234 and 36.
They got the seat already? Is it? That's not from last night. No way.
Not that quick.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There's an Adam LaRoche red seat up there too.
There was seat elves here at 4 in the morning doing that. I mean, Bryce needs to collect hits. His average is not where he wants it. So he's choking up to have better control of the barrel of the bat and to get some hits. And we'll see how it works, but I like the idea.
Well, as we mentioned, first time up, he got the sac fly for RBI number 55. But on the homestand, Bryce is 3 for 20. And his batting average very uncharacteristically under 250. 289 career average into the season. Hit a very impressive 330 as the MVP last year. Was in the batting race until the last week against D. Gordon. Urias throws one by him. The Nats go 1-2-3 for the first time today. Right now in the rubber game of this 3-game set, it's all Los Angeles. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com today. Yeah, just 2 years now to the All-Star game in 2018 here at Nats Park.
All right, time for your MASN word of the day. Great. Text that to 29292 for a chance to win a signed Mike Rizzo baseball and an Outback gift card from MASN, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse, open for lunch every bloomin' day with over 70 combos starting at just $6.99.
Ellis, Urias, and Utley, top of the fourth for the Dodgers. Steven Strasburg, 55 pitches, 37 strikes in 3 long innings.
Well, if he's going to go 14-0, he's got to stop the bleeding right here. And then his offense has to figure out the Dodgers left-hander. A lot of work to do to keep that record perfect.
Oh-2, and it overmatches A.J. Ellis. Couldn't pull the trigger. Strasburg, 3 strikeouts in a row, 5 on the game.
Time for Toyota Case for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this year.
Urias struck out swinging, second inning. At that time, it was 2-0. Actually, 2-1. Nats picked up a run bottom of the first on a sac fly by Harper after singles by Trey Turner and Michael A. Taylor. Only one other day game in baseball. Orioles picked up 2 in the first at Yankee Stadium. They are out of first place for the first time in a while. They've lost 4 straight, and the Red Sox are a half game ahead of Baltimore. Toronto a game back, and the Yankees are hot. They've won 4 in a row, and they're only 6 games out of first place with a long way to go in a tough division. 3-2.
Some teams coming out of the break cold. Orioles have lost 4. Giants have lost 5. Lead down to 4.5 in the NL West for the Giants. But a long way to go, as we all know.
Game number is 96 for the Nats today. So 66 more after this. Urias having some hacks and a good at bat. Everything away from Strasburg to the 19-year-old. Then he strikes him out with a fastball up and away. 6 strikeouts on the day. Padres are coming. Night game tomorrow night. That'll be Tanner Roark and Luis Perdomo. Max Scherzer and Edwin Jackson, the former National, on Saturday night. And then the Nats will probably decide if Joe Ross is ready. It'll be him. Could it be Giolito? Could it be Lopez again? That's the decision to be made for Sunday. Jason Worth next to Max, getting a day off today. Padres wrapping up their series in St. Louis tonight. They lost a day-night doubleheader yesterday. Up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, did you see the day Jed Jerko had? You talk about killing your old team. He's hit 6 home runs against the Padres this year. We talk about Daniel Murphy against the Mets. I think Jed Jerko's topping it. He's locked in. Yeah, he's been crushing the Mets this year. Jed Jerko's been crushing the Padres.
1-2 to Utley. Two, and he jammed him right at Taylor in center. Anthony Rendon will lead off for the Nationals, bottom of the 4th. Home run last night. Offense needs to get going middle of the game. And Teddy, along with Bill, way out in the lead, but evidently it's National Junk Food Day, and Teddy has it taken away.
It's also Get to Know Your Customers Day, I'm reading here.
Get to Know Your Customers Day?
Yeah.
Nice. Anthony Rendon last night, last time up.
Far one. Love the way he just put his head down and ran. Didn't watch it, dropped the bat halfway up the bleachers over the Dodgers bullpen for his 11th home run of the year. DC Lexus dealers are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this year. It's for a wonderful cause, Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Rendon called out on strikes first time. Second game of the series he's playing. 2 for 5. And the rookie, the 19-year-old, moving the ball around in and out.
Did a nice job of settling into this one. There's been some good at-bats against him. He's had a little help from his defense, but he's commanding the inner half of the plate to right-handers, which is opening up his off-speed big time.
To the left side and to the shortstop, Chris Taylor. Got rid of it in a hurry, and if he hadn't, Rendon would have been there. 5 in a row retired by Julio Urias. Wilson Ramos coming up as PNC takes us inside the numbers. So Wilson Ramos well up on DJ LeMahieu in the batting race for the number 2 spot behind Murphy coming into today. And the rookie from St. Louis, Aledmys Diaz, their shortstop, still hanging in there. Dodgers headed there from here. Padres from there to D.C. Fair ball. Backhand side. Turner had time to stop and throw. 2 down here in the 4th. Let's check in with Dan.
Bob, you mentioned earlier Ryan Zimmerman will be suiting up for Single A Potomac tonight, starting a rehab assignment. Dusty Baker saying earlier today that barring any setbacks, it probably won't be a lengthy rehab assignment for Zim. Maybe 3 games over these next few days. Could potentially return to the Nationals on Saturday and travel with the team to Cleveland, which would allow him to come off the DL potentially and be ready to play on Tuesday. So Zim, a couple games to get his timing right, get things going from a health standpoint, and then he might be ready.
Yeah, I asked him after batting practice tomorrow, are you about to go play somewhere? He said, I'd like it to be here, but he wasn't sure at that time. They did an evaluation on him after BP and his workouts yesterday, and that's great news that Ryan is ready to go out and play no matter where it is. Yeah, Nationals back to interleague ball for 2 days in Cleveland next week. And Heisey, that one off his foot as he walks it off. He could DH there. Then the Nats are heading for San Fran and Arizona on the next trip. Heisey drives it to right, and the ball's on the ground in front of Andrew Toles. Chris Heisey, soft liner to short first time, hit that one with authority, his 19th hit of the year.
This piece of hitting got on top of it. I think A.J. Ellis wanted that pitch a little bit higher.
Urias had retired 8 of the previous 9. Danny Espinosa trying to get the lineup turned over, get it to Strasburg. Nobody throwing in the bullpen.
I mean, he's 19. He should be a Friday night starter in Division I somewhere, freshman All-American. He's cutting through a major league lineup. What were you doing when you were 19? This is pretty impressive.
Now they get a pitcher up, which is interesting. Pedro Baez. As you mentioned, hadn't made a start in the big leagues in 17 days. July 4th the last time.
And then just pitched 1 inning of relief in AAA on July 10th.
Yeah, they're being careful with him. They've monitored him right from his first start of the year. But he does have a chance with 4 more outs to get a win. Target away, and that is paint on the outside edge.
I'm looking at his total pitches this year. He's thrown 100 pitches once. It was on June 28th at Milwaukee, but it's been really in the 80s for the majority of the starts, and one time at 94. That was against the Nats on June 22nd in LA.
Yeah, that was in 5 innings. Two and two now to Danny Espinosa. Danny had an RBI double against Urias in that game. And this one, 2 hops to the left side for Taylor. He goes the short way, and they get Heisey. Nationals have stranded 4 base runners. Dodgers by 5 into the 5th.
This game summary is brought to you by Cox's new Contour. Get right to the good stuff. You really don't need to go any further than Justin Turner. 2 homers, 5 RBIs. That's the good stuff. Trey Turner, the other Turner. There's lots of Turners in this game. Doing a nice job as well.
Howie Kendrick 1 for 2. He's hit the ball on the button twice. Strasburg's 73rd pitch right there, 50th strike. He actually has fewer pitchers than Urias does during 4 innings of work for each.
Nobody throwing in the Nats' pen. And Stephen Strasburg due to lead off the bottom of the 5th. I'm thinking this might be his last inning, but maybe Dusty Baker with that 18-inning affair, bullpen kind of all dinged up, wants to get some innings out of Stephen.
Yeah. Matt Belisle is stretching out there, the only one doing so. And then on the other side, the team up by 5 still has Pedro Baez throwing. There's Matt. Great pitch. 89 on the off speed. Strikeout number 7. Nissan will track it.
I'll turn the changeup over. 89. Howie Kendrick way out in front. Thought he saw a fastball. Nice pitch. Watch it just kind of fade there underneath his bat out in front.
Strasburg has struck out 5 of the last 6 Dodgers. Adrian Gonzalez is 2 for 2.
Dodgers never really let Stephen Strasburg get into that rhythm we always talk about. He might be getting close right now, but the damage is already done. Usually it takes him a couple of innings. 3rd, 4th, 5th is when he really settles in and gets into the flow. And when he does, usually it's lights out for whoever he's facing.
Turner 4th career 2 home run game. So he waits. Guys who love day baseball. Adrian Gonzalez hitting him around 390 this year in day games. Over in the other league, Jose Altuve 383, Jonathan Schoop 380. Guys who see the ball.
These guys that make curfew.
So that's the key.
Those are curfew players.
2-2. Well, I was about to mention Yunel Escobar is third over there, hitting 370. Former Nat who can hack anytime. 2-2. Up. And Gonzalez no chance to get to it.
So what do you throw Justin Turner now? First time up, his 16th home run of the year. That was a slider. Remember, he went back-to-back sliders. First one was 88. That one was 89. He just missed the one before that. And this one, a 3-0 fastball, eye high that he gets on top of. Pretty good effort by Michael Taylor. But Turner's 17th, the career high, 5 RBI, having a big day for the Dodgers.
Yeah, that took a 2-run game, made it 5. Gets a strike inside to Turner, whose 5 RBIs ties the career high that he did May 15th, 5 years ago with the Mets at Houston. Three-one pitch. And he walked him third time around.
Bryce Harper kids jersey, Sunday, July 24th, 1:35 start against the Padres. First 10,000 fans, 12 and under. You get that. They checking IDs? I know there's some people that probably 13 and 14 want to go to nationals.com/promotions to get your Bryce Harper kids jersey. He's already got his, maybe.
I don't know. There's a lot of kids in youth baseball who couldn't fit into that jersey right now. Baseball players are bigger than ever. Peterson takes a strike on a breaking ball, showing bunt. Up by 5 here in the 5th. Jock is 0 for 2 today, 1 for 7. After playing Tuesday night, but sitting out against Gio Gonzalez, who was very good here last night.
You see Peterson's body language versus Daniel Murphy's. He didn't like the call, right? And who does when you're behind 0-1, now it's 0-2 and you don't think it's a strike. But the way Murphy handles it, he gets a lot of calls based on his body language. Right there, Peterson just slumped his shoulders, looked back at the ump. They don't love it when you show them up. All of a sudden, your strike zone has a tendency to get a little bit bigger.
And Jock has shown us in this series that his 2-strike swing is pretty big as well.
I mean, as players, we all did it. The reason I'm pointing it out is Daniel Murphy's real good at it. It's hard to control your emotions when you're up there.
Swing and a miss on off speed. Strasburg 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. We'll see if that's it. His batting spot is due up. The Nats are down by 5 halfway through the game.
Strasburg struck out Jock Peterson and the top of the 5th. And Peterson frustrated. So you watch Strasburg walk off the mound, and he's checking out Jock Peterson. He looks back, and he's wondering what's going on back there. We'll show you what's going on back there. Watch Peterson. He kind of loses it. Throws his bat, throws his helmet down. And when you're up by 5, and the object of the game is to win it, that'll get the attention of the other team. And I was always told by Felipe Alou, let a sleeping dog lie when you're up by 5 runs. So we'll see.
Dodgers are into their bullpen with 28-year-old Pedro Baez. On the year, 43rd appearance, 3.05 ERA. Strikeout guy, definitely, 52 of them in 44 innings. Only 26 hits.
Yeah, fastball 97, slider 88, changeup 87. So everything firm from the Dodgers right-hander.
And Steven Strasburg still in the game and still hitting. So they take out Urias after 77 pitches, 51 strikes. Steven, a base hit up the middle first time. One of the Nationals' 5 hits. That ball pulled foul. 0-2. Not a good take. Joe Ross, even though he's been on the DL for a while, still has the staff hits lead with 9. Strasburg second with 6. Scherzer with 5. And he works the count to 2-2.
It's a Red Bull kind of day. 12 o'clock start.
Roark tomorrow, Scherzer Saturday against San Diego.
Pretty good AB working here, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Down by 5, still in the game. Working hard to try to get on base. Turner, Taylor, maybe Murphy coming up here, bottom 5.
I mean, Dusty making a statement here that he needs some innings out of Steven today based on what's happened to his bullpen recently.
Hmm. 4 days now after the 18-inning game here. Nats had to use 4 relievers in relief of Reynaldo Lopez major league debut. On Tuesday, only Rivero and Coda Glover in his debut last night. But lingering effects from that 18-inning game. Strasburg keeps battling.
Sorry, Carp. I'm trying not to get too excited about Coda Glover, just like I wouldn't get too bummed if he had given it up last night. But yeah, a 4-pitch 9th inning and 98 with all kinds of run to it is hard not to get excited about.
Who has a 4-pitch first inning in the major leagues?
Yeah, and he said he was nervous. He's never usually nervous. He's not that type, and you'd understand why he was. But he came out throwing flames, fuel, moving all over the place.
It's 3-2 to Strasburg.
At bat of the day working here. Bias, though, I'm going to come in this game and just mow down Strasburg and go from there. It's not happening yet.
And he walked it. How about that? Crowd likes it. Top of the order, Turner coming up.
Dave Roberts shaking his head. That's the Dusty Baker horseshoe effect. Sometimes he does things and you're like, why is Strasburg hitting right now? And then you think, well, the bullpen's digged up. He's got to get some innings. And then he throws a 9-pitch gem out there and starts off the 5th inning with a great at-bat and a walk.
Trey Turner 1 for 2. They say you can't steal first base. Well, he did it in the first inning on what appeared to be a fairly routine play for Chris Taylor up the middle. Then Taylor's single. Double steal got him to second and third after a Murphy pop-up. Harper a line drive to left for the Nats' only run on a sac fly. On a pitch in, Taylor couldn't get to it. 0-2, rather Turner 0-2.
Yeah, I'll be glad when the Padres get here tomorrow. There's too many Taylors and Turners in this game.
Target in again on 1 and 2. Ball 2. Becoming the pitcher of record. Pedro Baez has not exactly come into this ball game and worked fast and taken a stranglehold on things. No. He walks Strasburg. He's 2-2 on Turner after being well ahead. That's outside 3-2.
Big pitch coming, down by 5.
Yeah.
Dusty Baker needs base runners.
The quickest way to let a team back in the ball game is walk 2 to start an inning. Throws a strike and Turner stays alive.
I mean, do they have delay game penalties for pitchers? Remember when guys were getting memos in their lockers, hitters, for not getting the box? Why don't pitchers get it when they walk over the mound and get the rosin bag after every pitch and take a minute between pitches? They make the hitters get in there, but they never make the pitchers get on the mound and throw.
Not at this level. Probably would have been ball 4, but Trey hacking on something he thought was close. So 18 pitches in this inning. Stevens been on his feet for a while over there on a hot day. Now Turner hopes this one gets out of play, and it will, just over the dugout.
Well, we talked about this last night with Howie Kendrick. You get into that 3-2 swing mode, where as a hitter you're thinking he has to throw a strike. He's up by 5. He can't walk be here. You start chasing things with 3-2. And then all of a sudden, as a hitter, you get into swing mode, and it's tough to take ball 4. I mean, it's got to be a pitch out, basically, for you to take ball 4. It's hard to stop swinging.
Out of play again.
Pitch number 20 coming already. 20 pitches, 2 hitters. So 8 pitches his first time up, 5 his second, and 10 right here.
Luis Avilan. So maybe one more hitter for Baez after this, Taylor, because Murphy and Harper follow.
See, I mean, unless it's right at him where he has to get out of the way or something way up and away, he's not going to stop swinging. And every guy, including Dave Roberts, that's ever been in a 3-2 count is doing what Trey Turner's doing right now. Has done what Trey Turner's doing right now.
6-1 Dodgers. They've out hit the Nationals 7-5. Still just the bottom of the 5th inning. And this one on the infield, playable left side. Justin Turner made the call, 1 out. Potomac Nationals are back tonight down in Potomac, and it's going to be Ryan Zimmerman rehab night. They might have a nice dinner down there for the players in the clubhouse. There's a family pack going on tomorrow night, a bobblehead giveaway Saturday, military appreciation night Sunday, and then Dollar Monday on the 25th, right down I-95, about 30 miles south of here. The Nationals High A ball club, the Potomac Nationals. Michael A. Taylor is 0 for 2 career with a strikeout against Pedro Baez.
Well, I hope Ryan's well, and I hope he gets his work done, because he was just starting to heat up. Whatever's happened before doesn't matter. The Nats need him to accomplish what they want to accomplish here in the second half.
Huge presence in that lineup. Good take by Taylor. Last time up, Michael A. went fishing for a pitch up, and they kind of changed things in that at bat. It did take a good play by Taylor, Chris Taylor, in the shortstop hole to throw him out. And to left field, Michael A. didn't quite get it. Edge of the track, Kendrick for the second out. Dave Roberts on his way to pull his right-hander and bring in Luis Avilan. So as we just get into the 2 o'clock hour here at Nationals Park, an extended ball game today. A lot of baseball yet to be played. Murphy about to hit against Luis Avilan. So the Dodgers lead 6-1. 2 outs, bottom 5. Lefty-lefty matchup coming, and Murph's done the job against lefties all year. Is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Things not moving quite that quickly as they are at the Lincoln Memorial here at Nationals Park. Luis Avilan came on last night. Dodgers were way behind. He came in the 6th inning and got 5 consecutive batters out. One of those was Daniel Murphy with a fly ball to left. So Avilan in his 3rd stint with the Dodgers this year, 8th ball game.
Fastball 92, curveball 76, but lots of changeups at 82. He'll throw them to lefties as well as righties.
Yeah, Murphy, as they made the pitching change, was in the batter's box taking practice swings. So they got to play his walk-up music twice. And he faces Avilan here. 6 for 18 career against the lefty, and then almost hit him. In fact, Murphy's acting like it did, and Brian Gorman says, take your base. So the Dodger relievers a few glitches here in the 5th inning. That brings in Harper. Things could get interesting in a hurry.
Remember, Luis Avilan hit Bryce Harper in Atlanta a few years back. And it was the 2nd or 3rd time he was hit in the series. But if my memory serves me right, it wasn't a fastball that hit Harper. That one just nicks Murphy on the thigh. I almost said if my rememory serves me right.
Yeah. Big spot for Bryce. A sac fly called out on strikes last time. And against Avilan, 2 for 10, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Hey, one swing, you're back in this ball game. And if they throw him anything inside, I'd be shocked.
Curveball low and away.
He's still choked up. Nope. Back to normal.
Yeah, looking to do 2-out damage here. Nats 2 runners without a hit.
That was a good pitch. He must have been thinking about something off speed right there. That's a center cut fastball, the one you want to drill.
Off speed, blocked by A.J. Ellis. 2 balls, 1 strike. Dodgers have a right-hander up, Lewis Coleman, with Rendon and Ramos to follow. Dave Roberts handling this like a late game situation with matchups, but they do have an extra arm in their bullpen. They called up Grant Dayton today from Oklahoma City. Now they have 4 lefties out there. Zach Walters was optioned back to AAA. Charlie Culberson also. And those were the 2 moves they made that made room for the reliever and today's starter, Julio Urias. So he's got a bunch of arms out there.
Well, get you a good fastball with a lot of plate and let the throttle out. See what happens.
(3-1) target right down the middle. He walked him. The bases are loaded without a hit now. And we'll see if Roberts goes with Coleman against Rendon.
And he is.
So the Dodgers in the 5th inning of a game they lead 6-1, about to employ their 4th pitcher. Park, the Nats have the bases loaded. Down by 5 runs, bottom of the 5th inning. Rendon, and he'll be facing right-hander Lewis Coleman, 44th appearance, a 4 ERA. And guys make contact against him, just 32 Ks.
And you saw the 14 walks, so you got to get him in the strike zone. Low 3/4 release, fastball 89 with tons of sink, slider coming back the other way at 82.
So Strasburg walked to start the inning after Turner and Taylor hit fly balls. Murphy was hit by a pitch. Harper walked. And here's Anthony Rendon, 1 for 3 career against Coleman. Goes to left. And the ball hanging there for Howie Kendrick on 1 pitch. He ends the inning. The Nats have stranded 3 in this inning and 7 in 5 innings. Talk about a guy who the Nats put on the mound and usually win. Tanner Roark, and the Nationals are 9-1 his last 10 starts. He's looking for his 10th win of the year. Luis Perdomo, a rookie, 3-4, 23 games, 8 starts. But as Mike Mannix calls it, there's the plow horse of the starting rotation. Tanner Roark, pedal to the metal. Just grinding all the time out there to get this team success. 6:30, Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra tomorrow night on MASN. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. And we check in on Brian Goodwin. We've seen him a lot in spring training. 25-year-old outfielder having a good year for the AAA Syracuse Chiefs. Look forward to seeing him in the big leagues someday. Good ball player, Brian Goodwin. He can run. He's got some pop. And batting .385 over a week and a half. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Strasburg, a long time on the bases. We think the better part of 20 minutes out there. And he faces, for the Dodgers, 6, 7, and 8 in the 6th inning. Chris Taylor. Matt Belisle is now up and throwing. Strike call, 1-1. Nicely done, front door with the curve. Strike 2.
A couple things about the outing so far today that I've noticed. The slider hasn't been as sharp as we've seen it in the past. I mean, it's been more of a cutter today. I always call it the cutter slider thing, but usually it has a little more break late than we've seen here today. And the fastball you see is 92. It's been 95 to 98 throughout this streak that he's had. So the fastball velocity down a little bit today, 92, 94 range.
Yeah, I think early in the game he topped out at 96. But you're right. Since then.
And the command too. The one thing you can say about Strasburg and why he's 13-0 is his fastball command. It's power and command. It's been 96, 98, but hitting spots, moving it around, throwing it for strikes when he wants to, throwing it for balls and expanding the zone. And 4+ pitches. But today, just been a little bit off with everything, really. Nothing really stands out as being spectacular, and maybe he's spoiled all of us. Warm day, maybe he's feeling it.
Three runs, last 4 starts coming into this one. On only 11 hits. In those 4 starts, going 7 against the Cubs, 6 2/3 against Cincinnati, 7 at New York against the Mets, and 8 last time out against the Pirates. 3-2. And he got him on the outside edge. Stephen Strasburg, 10 strikeouts on the day. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Yeah, perfectly placed fastball, 93 miles an hour. A little run back to it, caught the corner. Good pitch.
Strasburg, 29th career 10 strikeout game or more. Coming forward to grab that one, Daniel Murphy, 2 outs. Number 8 hitter, A.J. Ellis. It's the Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez box score for the Dodgers. Two-run shot first inning, 3-run homer third inning. Dodgers have another pitcher throwing. That's Joe Blanton. Pitcher spot due up next, and a pinch hitter on deck. That's up and in. Check swing. Murphy for this one as well. So Stephen Strasburg, if that's it, showing some toughness, coming out and throwing a 1-2-3-6, featuring his 10th strikeout. Bottom of the 6th. Hot day at the ballpark. Fans hanging in there hoping for a Nats comeback at some point this afternoon. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service, and it delivers everything you've come to expect. Every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Free subscription included to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Some blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to check it all out. Nationals box score day started off in promising fashion, even after the Dodgers scored 2 with Turner and Taylor back-to-back hits. Turner scored on the Harper sac fly. Since then, hits by Ramos, Strasburg, Heisey, and that's been it. Bases loaded last inning without a hit. Anthony Rendon first pitch swinging, main and out. So it's Ramos, Heisey, and Espinoza here, bottom 6. Lewis Coleman still in the game. Got that big crossfire thing going.
You remember Russ Springer? He reminds me of him a lot. Same delivery, same body type.
Oh, 2 to Ramos, who faces Coleman for the first time. You get your feet moving to try to reach some of these pitches.
Boy, he's stepping behind you if you're right-handed.
Ramos pulls it left side. Coming forward, Justin Turner. First out, bottom of the 6th. Chris Heisey is next.
Well, he felt like last inning, I mean, Captain Obvious statement was their chance to jump back in this. Just didn't happen. Now you got to reload and figure out a way to get to the Dodgers bullpen. But Dodgers bullpen's been nice all season.
As we mentioned last evening, coming into this series, top 2 bullpens, ERA in the National League. That's at 2.94. Dodgers 2.96. Washington down to 2.91 after last night's game. One and two to Chris Heisey. And Chris Heisey takes one low and in. Base hit to right field with authority last time up. Danny Espinosa on deck, then the pitcher's spot. And this one right off the end of the bat, straight back is Ellis. Ooh, and he kind of ran into that wall pretty hard. No padding on that baby.
I was sitting back there during batting practice the other day, feeling the edge on that stone back there, and wondering how long before a catcher runs into that and feels it. Ooh, because it's sharp. That edge right there, if you can see, pretty sharp.
3-2 with one out. Heisey rips it, and he's 2 for 3. Turner got a piece of it, but Chris Heisey gives Dusty Baker some good ABs in the number 7 hole today. Danny Espinosa is next.
But he's just been a good player all season for Dusty, whether it's clutch pinch hits, home runs. He puts him in there in center field, leads him off. He gets the job done. Today he was originally in center, then they changed the lineup around and left. So a 2-hit day, and Dusty Baker's bench continues to produce.
Danny Espinosa still looking for his first hit in this series.
Left-handed a little easier against these crossfire guys. When you're right-handed, they're stepping behind you. It's tough to stick your teeth in there, but left-handed, you get a better look. Just have to pick up the release point.
Espinosa does. That ball is scorched. Gets beyond Andrew Tolson right. Heisey to third. Bob Henley's going to send him. Chase Utley will hold on to the relay. The Nats are on the board, and it's a 6-2 game. Espinosa busting out of a 2 for 21 right there. And for Danny, his 51st RBI.
So he did pick up the release point. He got something up and hooks it down the corner. So he's hit some balls hard in this series. Nothing to show. Look at Bob Henley down by 5, saying, come on. Chase Utley had a chance if he let it rip, but thought better of it. So a 4-run game. Nats chipping away.
And Dave Roberts, he had J.P. Howell up as that at bat began, anticipating a Nationals left-handed batter for Strasburg. So Ben Revere was announced. J.P. Howell will get the call. So some things are happening, and there still is a long afternoon of baseball left here at Nationals Park. Bottom of the 6th inning. Nats are down by 4. J.P. Howell, second appearance of the series, a 1-hit, 1-run 8th inning last night. He gave up the Anthony Rendon homer. But for the Dodgers, Howell's been pretty consistent. ERA just over 2 since the middle of April.
Yeah, fastball 86, curveball 79, occasional changeup. Really 2 pitches, fastball, curve. And yeah, Danny Espinosa, the kids had the sugar high going here on camp day, and then they just all hit the wall together.
How about Ben Revere's 6th career homer last night?
I got all of it.
Worth would follow with one in the 5th inning, and soon thereafter, Bud Norris, who was cruising, was out of that game.
We noted he does the big hitch with his hands. He has the big leg kick and kind of jumps at a pitcher, but when he does it all early and slow.
Howell was not going to throw, it appeared at first, and then he did, and that throw was tailing into Ben Revere, or rather Danny Espinosa.
Well, that's a pretty good inside move and borderline balk.
In fact, Howell ended up sitting after that throw on the back of the mound.
He caught a cleat.
You cannot lose a runner on a pickoff at this stage of the game. Nats are still down by 4. A lot of slap ground ball room on the left side of the infield. And that one, front door, stayed inside, ball 1. Ben Revere, 0 for 2 career against J.P. Howell.
Hey, Chris Taylor playing Ben Revere to pull. That's a good point, Carp. He's got the whole left side. Left on left. Usually that's where Ben goes against left-handers, the other way.
And Turner can't play too far off the bag because there's a runner. And Joe Blanton's up again because Turner and Taylor are next. One ball and 2 strikes with 1 out.
And I also think when you have as much going on as Ben Revere does in his swing, it's harder to hit guys out of the stretch. Because, you're dropping your hands, your leg kick, and there's no wind up for you to wind up with all the stuff you have going on. So it has to be an abbreviated version of the hitch, the leg kick, the jump, everything he's got going on. I always used to think it was tougher hitting guys out of the stretch because they rush you.
Revere waited and took it, and he's out. 2 down.
Had to be the top of the strike zone. Everything else is up there in the sequence, and maybe a little generous.
So Revere hit for Strasburg, who, by the way, retired 12 of his last 13 batters. So Dave Roberts is going to employ his 6th pitcher of the afternoon as Joe Blanton's about to come on.
Game 7?
Andrew Toles has vacated right field. Yasiel Puig on his way in. Wow.
Dodgers on second base, Joe Blanton in the game. Nats fans spend the summer at Nats Park with the Summer Saver Pack. You buy 3 games, you get 1 free. Some restrictions apply. Visit nationals.com/summer for all the details.
So the latest Dodger pitcher is 35-year-old Joe Blanton, who's made 44 relief appearances with a 2.05 ERA. 49 Ks, 49 innings. He's been in the big league since 04 with Oakland. The Nats know him pretty well from his days with the Phillies.
Yeah, lots of sliders, almost 40% of the time at 87. Occasional fastball at 91. Curveball change to complement it. So 4-pitch reliever. And Trey Turner trying to keep this thing going here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yasiel Puig on the double switch. He'll lead off next inning, batting 9th. Ball 1 to Turner. Trying to get the Nats to within 3 runs with 3 innings plus to go. Two 2-0, both outside. Turner 1 for 3, first inning base hit, a steal of third, and a run. And he goes to right field off the end of the bat. Puig is right there. Nationals pick up 1, but they've stranded 8 today. Into the 7th inning, the Dodgers 6-2. Top of the 7th inning, 6-7-0 Dodgers, 2-7-0 with 8 stranded by the Nationals. And it's Matt Belisle making his 21st appearance, 2.01 ERA.
A fastball, slider, curveball change. Fastball of the 2-seam variety at 91. Opponents hitting 253 against Matt Belisle, but another reverse split guy. Lefty's just 118.
Yasiel Puig is 2 for 4 with an RBI against him career. Puig in the series, 2 for 8, 1 run batted in. That was on a single up the middle Tuesday night. Hit a line drive to put a dent in the left field wall here last evening on a double. And the count 0-1, 7th inning underway. That ball hard hit. Rendon to his right. Up with the throw. Murphy with the pick at the other end. And a casual out call by Pat Hoiberg. 1 out.
He's checking to see if Puig's okay. What did Murphy do? Did he hit him with the glove on the pick? What a play by Anthony Rendon. First things first, I think Murphy got Puig in the face with the glove on the pick. But watch Rendon's sunglasses come off, number 1. As he goes into the dive. And he gets up, slings it across. Murphy picks it, and where does he hit Puig? You see him looking at him. Maybe they stepped on each other? But what a play by Rendon. Fully extended, and Puig can run, so he had to get to his feet quick. The sidearm underhand throw all the way across to first base, and a nice pick by Daniel Murphy.
Fantastic by Rendon, who's been credited with 3 errors this year, but we think it should be 1. He's been amazing. A couple of calls have gone against him from the press box. That's up the middle. Belisle let it go, it seemed, with Danny Espinosa up the middle, 2 down, just that quickly.
Maybe he heard something, because I didn't see any contact between these guys. Oh, he pulls up right there. He might have pulled something. That's what Daniel Murphy's checking on. Something went right there for Puig. Cramp? Hoping it's a cramp.
Yeah, just into the game to play right field.
You don't want to see anybody pull anything.
For 1 hitter, and then he's up leading off. So here's Howie Kendrick, 1 for 3, and sporting a 13-game hitting streak. Kendrick against Belisle, 1 for 3. Oh, 2 with 2 outs. Had him reaching, and he couldn't reach it. 1, 2, 3. 15 of the last 16 Dodgers have made outs. That was an 8-pitch inning by Matt Belisle. $38,586 settling back in. Taylor, Murphy, Harper against Joe Blanton, and Michael A. Taylor fouls one off the end of the bat. So Puig out of the game. Scott Van Slyke replaces him. Taylor 0 for 1 against Joe Blanton. It's been a frustrating day, but Stephen Strasburg shut down the Dodgers for the last 3+ innings. Belisle just had an 8-pitch inning. Oliver Perez is throwing. So the pitching getting things settled down here. Just waiting for some offense. 2-1 to Taylor. Straight back it goes. Three and two.
Joe Blanton can't believe it. You see him walk off the mound right there? All right, good take by Michael Taylor. It looks like it was a little bit low. But watch Joe Blanton. He just like walks away from the whole deal.
3-2 pitch. Taylor walks. Getting the base runners necessary for the comeback. Have the Nats for the last 3 innings. Now it's Murphy, Harper, and Rendon the next 3.
An interesting pitch selection by those two right there. Up by 4, 3-2 slider. Those have a tendency to come back and haunt you. Yeah, 1-run game, 2-run game, you get it. You don't want any rally stars, but up by 4, you challenge hitters, man.
Yep. Murphy 2 for 12 career with a walk and an RBI. Against Joe Blanton. Hit by a pitch last time. 2 balls the other way against the left-handed starter Urias. Pop up to short, line drive to left. And the 0-1 with Taylor running way inside. He's got that bag ripped easily. Michael A. Taylor, 2 today, 12 on the year.
Yeah, Dusty doesn't shy away from the score giving you a green light. He just says if you're down by whatever, you better make it. And Michael A. Taylor with a great jump, picked a good pitch to go on. Steals second easily.
So the Nats has a team 3 today. Murphy now a chance for a 69th run batted in. And we haven't seen him swing uncertainly like that more than a couple of times all year. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So the best full season average ever, Vlad, back in 2000. So they're all Expos. Bryce Harper, by the way, 330 last year in an MVP year. But Murphy tops right now. Long way to go.
Moises Alou could hit.
Yes, he could.
Flat out hit. Flat footed. No movement. A lot like Daniel Murphy from the right side.
Murphy stays alive.
But he was like a statue. I mean, he didn't move at all. The pigeon toes, the knees in, the bat a little bit higher than Murph. He could still turn around a high 90s fastball. Great teammate, too.
Sun now back out, blazing here. On a 1-2 count to Murphy. Hose up the middle. Got enough to get through. Here comes Taylor. And it's a 6-3 ball game as Daniel Murphy drives in his 69th on his 122nd base hit.
We'll give Michael A. Taylor a lot of credit. Leadoff walk, he spit on a 3-2 slider, stole second base, and shocker, Daniel Murphy got a base hit. So Daniel hits Murphy. We've given him that middle name this year, Hits, and you see why. Making the adjustments. He was fooled on that same pitch earlier in the count. Blanton went back to the well, and Murphy made the adjustment. So those 3-2 sliders up by 4 do have a way of coming back to haunt you.
Maybe not as extreme, but reminiscent of his base hit in the All-Star game when he really went down and dug one out.
He stays through it so nice.
What a year. And it's not like it's an unproductive, a whole bunch of singles sort of thing. I mean, the guy's third in the league and runs batted in. Now 2 behind Arenado and Rizzo. Bryce Harper 0 for 1 today. A sac fly, a walk. Outside from Blanton. Bryce is 1 for 1 career against him.
But you could just watch the way Bryce is taking pitches. He's on his heels kind of toward his dugout. He's still trying to search for that base that he had all of last year.
Strike call, it's even.
That was a strike? I didn't even. Watch A.J. Ellis's glove. It hits the dirt.
Yeah.
I don't care what pitch track said. When a catcher's glove hits the dirt, it's not a strike.
Joe Blanton's not Bert Blyleven, and that curve wasn't coming down that much. And then upstairs, Harper unable to get to the off speed at 85. And now a deep hole, 1 and 2.
But that's the balance thing I'm talking about that we've seen for about 2 months. Just kind of falling all over the place. And that time he does it again. Just fooled by the changeup, but still watch where his body's going. Trying to right the ship and stay in there, but everything's going back to his own clubhouse.
1-2. Ellis keeps it in front. So that called the difference right now between a 3-1 count and what it is. Nationals were down by 5. Now it's a 3-run game. They have more hits than the Dodgers, 8 over 7. Swing and a miss, and Bryce Harper is down on strikes for the 2nd time today. 1 out.
The thing about it is Bryce doesn't need to generate so much with his lower half. He's so strong. If he went flat-footed every once in a while with 2 strikes, do you see him walk into the pitch right there? He could still hit it a mile, and he said as much in his locker last night. It's not how far, it's how many. But if he ever spread out and kind of took all that stuff out of it, he'd still hit the ball a mile. He's that quick and that strong.
Great jump. Murphy to second base, and nobody on the infield even moved. Daniel Murphy, 3 for 6 now this year, and the Nats have ripped 4 bags today. That's big. Get a base hit now, it's a 2-run game.
If they're going to give it to you, you got to take it.
Rendon facing Blanton for the first time. The pitch was a strike. That one is not. Upstairs. And this one popped up into short center. Peterson on his way in. 2 outs. It'll be up to Wilson Ramos. And he's 2 for 5 career with an RBI against Joe Blanton.
I think I saw Bryce Harper move his back foot toward Joe Blanton before that last swing. Watch his back foot right here. So right before Blanton pitches, he kind of steps toward Blanton with his back foot. See that?
Yeah.
Move up. So we've seen him choke up on the bat today. It worked for a sac fly with 2 strikes. Good at bat. We've seen him go back down to normal today. And then with 2 strikes, we've seen him take a step toward the opposing pitcher. So a lot of things going on.
Wilson Ramos 1 for 3 today. Looking for his 50th RBI. One of the best Nats, in fact, the best from a number standpoint with runners in scoring position. 364. Six-3 game. Bottom 7. Murphy parked at second. Any base hit into the outfield will score him. They're not keeping him close at all, and the outfielders are deep for a power hitting catcher. And Ramos, a good take. He was traveling outside with that ball. Three-two pitch, and Ramos calmly took it for his 25th walk of the year. He's been seeing the ball great ever since spring training. 2 walks in the inning by Joe Blanton, and now he deals with veteran Chris Heisey.
A good at-bat, line moving. Chris Heisey has a chance to do some really big things right here, right now.
Well, the Dodgers bullpen has left the door ajar here for the last couple of innings. That's looking for that big hit to kick it in. Heisey 2 for 3, and career against Blanton 2 for 8 with a home run. Strike 1.
It's a good take. You don't want that yet. Good pitch.
Heisey got jammed enough. It's a fly ball to right for Van Slyke. Nationals get 1. They're pecking away, but still looking for that big hit. 2 innings to go, and it's a 6-3 game. Baseball on Masson, brought to you by American Standard Heating and Air. It's their All-Star Sales event with up to $1,100 in instant rebates or 0% APR for 36 months. Yeah, shade on the concourse right now. A couple of innings to go in this one. Dodgers 6, Nationals 3. Rubber game of this 3-game series. Oliver Perez will make his 40th appearance. 26 2/3, 24 hits, 32 Ks. Adrian Gonzalez first, then a right-hander Turner, but then a lefty Peterson. Dusty makes the percentage move here in the top of the 8th inning.
And 2 pitches, fastball, slider from about 4 different angles and 3 different windups. He'll quick pitch you, he'll turn his back to you, he'll drop down on the slider with 2 strikes.
So these two have meant a lot. A homer, 5 RBIs, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks in that 4 for 23. Gonzalez, that's a called strike on the outside edge. Little twist and turn there. Gonzalez not fooled, hits it well. Here comes Taylor, and Michael A makes a fine sliding catch.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez stayed in there nice. Watch the drop down slider. Didn't phase him. Stayed closed, hit it hard, but Michael A. Taylor got a good jump. Nice play.
He's been on base twice today. 2 steals, a run. Justin Turner. One for one with an RBI against Oliver Perez. On base 3 times today in the series, 5 for 12. Both of his homers, all of his series RBIs happening here today. Oh-2.
He kind of shortened his leg kick. You saw against Steven Strasburg that leg was getting up there big. He had some time to get it there, but with Perez, he doesn't know if he's going to quick pitch him, turn his back to him, so that'll disrupt your timing. But Turner's made the adjustment by not picking up his leg that high. Did right there, and he was late.
Yeah.
Pitched before, he didn't. He just looks comfy in the box. It's like he has a nice relaxed stance. That leg kick's slow. His head doesn't move a whole lot.
He's become quite a slugger at the ages of 30 and 31 the last 2 years. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Perez with 1 out. There he is, Coda Glover. He is exhausted after a 4-pitch major league debut 9th inning last night. Looking forward to seeing that again.
Absolutely.
That time Perez not much of a turn, but he was hanging on his back leg forever.
That's the Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off. He was holding it there for a second. I forgot about that one. That had 4 deliveries to it. You don't see that one too often.
Two-two jammed him, and Turner continues to be A hard bat to miss.
So he's got good balance throughout his swing. Even though he's a leg kick guy, he's staying centered. What does that mean? Well, all of his weight is staying on his backside. He's not drifting. Look at how he's standing there after the swing. Almost like the same way he started.
Perez, a fastball right by him. 2 outs in the 8th. Bullpen 2.91. Dan, best in the league coming into today. You got more?
They've been great, Bob, but a couple tough decisions coming for the Nats regarding this pen. They're currently working with an extra reliever with Coda Glover up, but they're going to need to call up a starter for Sunday against the Padres. And then there's Sammy Solis, currently on the DL, but says he's feeling good and is eligible to be activated on Saturday. So the Nats, with a lot of relievers out there doing a strong job, and they're going to need to free up a couple spots sometime in the next handful of days, potentially for Solis and probably for a starter on Sunday.
Yeah, Solis only really a 4-day stay on the DL. When they put him on, it was retroactive. Back 11 days. So that's Jock Peterson taking a slider, ball 1. Peterson 0 for 2 career against Oliver Perez. 2 Ks around to pop up today in a 1 for 8 series. Oliver throwing the ball well. Counts even, 1-1.
Good frisbee right there.
The fastball not bad to lefties either.
Wow, 94. I don't know that I've seen too many 94s from Oli Perez this year.
Well, he's overmatching some guys out there. 2 Ks after the Gonzalez line drive, and the good play by Taylor. Espinosa to lead off, bottom 8.
I mean, rally pigeon? I don't think that pigeon, but maybe he can get it done. Let's see. Maybe the ugly rally pigeon will get it done today.
Well, like the Nats, he's just hanging around, waiting for the big hit.
I don't think he can fly away. He is looking a little under the weather, but maybe he's got some runs in him. We'll see.
I think he's been through a couple of battles myself. 41st appearance for Adam Liberatore for the Dodgers. Nats saw him in the 8th inning on Tuesday night. He gave up a double to Murphy that drove in a run. 41st appearance. ERA 0.57.
Fastball slider change. Fastball 92.
Danny Espinosa faces him for the first time. Danny swinging well lately from the right side. 1 for 3 RBI double last time up. Batting left-handed. Kenley Jansen out there. This is the inning when you have to make it happen. On deck is Jason Worth. Nats bench left-handed bat heavy today. Up and in, 1-1. Stephen Drew hasn't been feeling well the last couple of days. So that kind of takes away a left-handed bat. They've already used Ben Revere. Espinosa, a good hack, and straight back it went. Ball diving down and in. Espinosa strikes out. Jason Worth followed a blast by Ben Revere last night, 5th inning.
Man, caught a slider out front. Not his patented bat toss, but he knew he got it. Stayed through it nice. The Nats with 4 taters last night. Jason Worth, one of them.
Here's Worth to pinch hit for Oliver Perez. Fastball tailing to the outside edge. Worth 0 for 1 career against the lefty Liberatore. The 7th Dodger pitcher. Worth left field line. Ball hooking away from Howie Kendrick, making it a 2-bagger. And Jason Worth is 2 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year.
But he just keeps the bat in the zone for such a long time. And when you try to fool him with off speed, nobody on the Nats, especially right-handers, keeps the bat in the zone this long. Look at it. He just gets fooled, but he extends out in front. A lot like the home run swing we just showed you. This pitch just a little bit lower. So Jason Worth telling all the extras, I don't know what's so hard about this pinch hitting thing. Trust me, it's hard.
Runner at second, 1 out. In the last 3 innings, the Nats have had 4 hits. They've been given 4 walks and a hit batter. Been able to chip away with a run at a time. Here's Turner. Strike call.
I mean, ideally, Dusty Baker just wants Daniel Murphy to hit this inning.
Yeah.
And if he does, it's going to be in a big situation. I mean, that's what you want. You want to get the ball game to your guy any way you can.
Well, two right-handers before him. Let's see what they can do. Turner and Taylor each seeing this lefty for the first time.
Liberatore, one of those guys with a slow delivery and then rushes you at the last second where that fastball kind of jumps on you even though it's 93.
Yeah, tough day with runners in scoring position. That 1 for 9, the reason the Nats have stranded 10 runners through 7. Liberatore taking time here, then he steps off. And a 1-2 pitch. Turner called out on strikes, and he can't believe it. 2 down.
So the first 2 strikes on the inner half, and then strike 3 looked like it was outside. Trey Turner strongly disagreed with Brian Gorman. Well, it's hard as a rookie in the major leagues. You want to really tell them what you think, but you can't. They'll make life real tough on you.
It's up to Taylor with 2 outs. Michael A. 1 for 3. A walk, 2 steals, a run. And he hits this one out to center for Jock Peterson. Nats had a double with 1 out. Now they've left 11 today. To the top of the 9th in the rubber game. Dodgers by 3. Electrifying major league debut last night. All 3 batters made contact, but boy, he made short work of it. First up was Justin Turner, and he of course had the game face on well before he came in. So there's Turner with the fly ball to Harper. Next up, pinch hitter Andrew Toles. No problem, 1 hopper. Next up, Scott Van Slyke. Line drive to left. Worth is there. Ball game. 4 pitches, 4 strikes. Who does that?
May look easy. The cutter was 93. The fastball was 98. And it has all kinds of arm side run to it. You see the minor league numbers for Koda Glover. So we couldn't wait to see him again, and we didn't have to wait very long.
Chris Taylor 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts for the Dodgers. 9th inning. 97. And then he thought it was a fastball, but it wasn't.
I mean, we didn't see that break last night. We only saw 4 pitches. So watch this. I mean, the slider from Coda Glover at 90, just hanging a left late. That might be more impressive than the 98 on his fastball.
First ball he throws in the big leagues on an 0-2.
Yeah, so you don't have to mess around with that changeup. The fastball and slider are plenty.
Well, they're going to go to their starting pitchers here for a pinch hitter in a moment. So with Kenta Maeda waiting, leadoff man Chris Taylor, top of the 9th. Out to short, Danny Espinosa. 4 big league hitters up, 4 down. Now he faces a pitcher. Gianni Holiday and Ray Knight in left field, trying to stay cool today. It is our Nats Extra Post Game presented by W.B. Mason, featuring our veteran experts when this one's over. Maeda 3 hits, a homer this year. It is his first pinch hitting appearance, and it's strike 1.
Not scared, attacking the strike zone with plus stuff as you look at Kenley Jansen getting hot for the Dodgers. I mean, if you're going to be a big league closer, you got to miss bats late. And I would say 97 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider qualifies.
Maeda makes contact.
And everybody talking about Glover has a good chance to be just that in the future for the Nats.
Ho-hum, 2 down. Now he faces A.J. Ellis, the catcher.
So this 198 coming at you firm. Don't have a lot of time to make a decision when you're seeing a fastball that fast.
A.J. Ellis is 0 for 3 today. Against Steven Strasburg, that was. Fly ball, strikeout, grounder. Dodgers trying to hold on to win a ball game in which they have not had a hit since nobody out in the 3rd inning. Front door, strike call, 1-1. And a ball drilled to right center. Even Taylor can't get that one. A.J. Ellis really hitting a rocket. Taylor plays it well. 2-out double here in the 9th.
Came in 98, left 101. Good swing by A.J. Ellis, 5th double of the year. Just going with the pitch. He tried to backdoor the sinker, run it back. And Ellis was in swing mode. Nice swing, tailed away from Michael A. Taylor. Made it kind of close at second.
And a strike to Scott Van Slyke.
Well, he's a tall kid at 6'5", and then he's got a real long reach with his lower half. So you're thinking, yeah, he throws 98, but watch how far he strides. I mean, he's really coming down at you.
That's a slider that's nasty.
So he may be throwing that 98 a lot closer than most guys do. Look how far. Watch this. Really reaching out there with his stride leg. Getting down in there using the lower half.
To short. Espinosa. For a second, screened by the runner. And Koda Glover works 2 scoreless innings with 1 hit in the 2 days of his major league debut. Kenley Jansen now. The Nats have their work cut out, but good hitters. 3, 4, 5 upcoming. Kenley Jansen has just now started his warm-up tosses. He'll face Murphy, Harper, and Rendon.
Well, you know about his arsenal. The fastball, low to mid-90s, cuts all over the place. Throw an occasional slider. He'll throw a four-seamer if he has to throw a strike when behind in the count. But he's going to attack you with that cut fastball. And that's a pretty good one.
27 saves. He has blown 4 on the year. 1 since the Nats saw him in LA. So we'll check the matchups. Murphy, 1 for 6 career with a walk and an RBI against him. Then Bryce Harper, who has a couple of career hits in the matchup, followed by Anthony Rendon. Murphy a base hit last time up and an RBI attached to it, number 69.
Should be an interesting matchup here. Murph on the plate, Cutter's in.
Yeah, Mark Melancon found out about one of those over the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we talk about Murph all the time, how he crowds the plate and how there's no window to really throw him in. Pitchers want to bust him in. That's the book on Murph. But when he's hanging out over the plate like that, the window to get that ball in is closed. So guys inevitably leave it out over the plate. Watch, you're going to try to get this in. And that's what we usually see. I mean, how many times do you see a catcher set down and in against Daniel Murphy? But since he's given you no window to throw that pitch, pitchers don't want to hit him. They don't want to put a guy on in front of Bryce Harper, so they leave it out over the plate.
One ball, one strike. Murphy, left side, ball not in the air that long, and into the camera well. No chance for Justin Turner.
Look at Murph doing his homework. Were you going to call that a strike? Was that a good pitch? Did I swing at a strike right there?
One ball, two strikes. That was close.
See, that's what he does to you. He gets you thinking about that cutter in, and then he throws that four-seamer away, and it looks like it's a mile away, and it's pretty close. A.J. Ellis might have set up way off the plate there. Hit the spot, but he wasn't on the plate.
And a 2-2 to Murphy. Straight back it goes.
Well, you see where A.J. Ellis was setting up. He wanted it here. Watch where the pitch is. Go ahead and roll it, guys. Just leave that dot there. See where it ends up? Right down the middle. That's what I'm talking about. We see it all the time. They're trying to bust him in, but since he's on the plate, he's kind of taking that away from you. If you throw it in off the plate, you're going to drill him. Same way. But when you have a hitter as disciplined as Daniel Murphy and able to get to that pitch, an inch or two miss usually ends up in Murphy's favor. And once again, out over the plate, you saw where A.J. Ellis was setting up. Murph had a good rip there. Good two-strike act. Look where Ellis is and watch where this pitch goes.
Pitch number 9 coming.
Try to go away again here with that four-seamer.
So it'll take at least 10 to decide this Jansen-Murphy matchup.
It's just the definition of a tough out.
6-3 ball game, bottom of the 9th. And Murphy drills one deep to left center. Tracking it, Jock Peterson. Quite a battle. Harper is next.
I mean, that's the way you retire Daniel Murphy. He's going to grind, he's going to hit something hard, and if you catch it, that's how you get him out. So big time battle goes Jansen's way, but not after Daniel Murphy fought him and just got under that. I mean, if he squares that up a quarter inch more in the barrel, it's going. Still hit it well. And Jock Peterson's been playing deep all day. That was an easy one for him.
Bryce Harper, 2 for 6 with a homer against Jansen career. He's up hacking straight back. That was pitch number 180 by the Dodgers staff today, all 8 of them. And one of them pinch hit. Dave Roberts and his club trying to keep the pressure on the Giants. They win this one, they're 4 games back. Now Taylor, the shortstop, retreats to a deeper position on 2 strikes. Turner, the third baseman, is in short right field on the shift. Chase Utley home at deep second.
Dusty Baker on the end of the bench trying to switch it up.
Harper levels off and hits it perfectly to center field. Bryce's second hit of this series, on base for the second time today, plus a sac fly. One more runner needed to get that tying run in the box.
That swing right there is the one we saw from Bryce Harper a lot last year, where he stays through the baseball, good balance. Watch him with the slow feet and extend a lot like we were talking about with Jason Worth, keeping your bat in the zone a long time and staying through it. Right back up the middle. Watch the eyes on the baseball. Head fairly still. Backside kind of going to his dugout still, but he stayed through it nice.
Rendon 0 for 4 today, 0 for 3 career against Jansen. Runner going. Harper to second. No stolen base credited. Does take away the double play possibility with a power hitter on deck. And Rendon takes it on the inside edge. Called strike.
We talked about the other night when Jansen was in. Sometimes it's easier to hit that cut fastball right-handed because it comes right back over the plate, or at least out over the plate where you can get extended.
Yeah, he pitched Tuesday night in a non-save situation. Dodgers had just scored a run in the ninth in an 8-4 game. Hit Clint Robinson with a pitch and then went 1-2-3. And a 1-2 to Rendon with one out. Right field. Scott Van Slyke for the second out. Harper will tag and go to third. It's up to Wilson Ramos to keep it going and get Chris Heisey in the box. Potential tying run on deck here.
Well, it's a good matchup for Wilson. Right center's his strength. The ball should be cutting out over the plate if he's thinking that way. Should be able to square one up here.
Kelly Jansen has faced Wilson Ramos 3 times and struck him out each time. Wilson 1 for 3 with a base on balls today. Well, the Dodgers are trying to win the season series from the Nationals 5-1. Dave Roberts, Bob Guerin.
Dave Roberts managed hard today, just like we used to play.
0-2 to Wilson Ramos. That's it. 3.5 hours struggle. The Nats trailed big early with Justin Turner dominating the game. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Nats never could make the long road back. They had chances. End up stranding 12 runners on the day. So the Dodgers win the series 2-1. Join us tomorrow. when the Nats continue this homestand, which is now 3-3 with San Diego coming to town. We'll get you going with Nats Extra at 6:30. This has been a presentation of Masson. Johnny and Ray are ahead with Nats Extra postgame. And from the booth, so long for just a while.